Welcome to 6 Reviews of Separation, where we put our useless movie knowledge to use for your entertainment. I'm Cody.
And I'm Kenji.
And today we're connecting Lloyd Bridges and Johnny Depp. I almost read it. I finished this sheet at like 4 this morning, and I wrote Johnny Depp on the last one.
Johnny Depp.
It's right on every other page, but I wrote Johnny Depp, and I almost read it.
All right. Johnny Depp. How was his porn name?
You're gonna go first since I went first on the last one.
Okay. Well, my first connection is Lloyd Bridges was an airplane with Leslie Nielsen.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Surely you can't be serious.
I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley.
All right.
Airplane was directed by Jim Abrahams, David Zucker, and others. It was released in 1980 and rated PG. Basically, it's about this guy, Ted Stryker. He wants his love back, and she left him because he has a drinking problem. And
Yeah.
Yep. Which I'm sure you're probably going to show right behind me right now.
I hope so.
But the plane comes into a problem when the fish was poisoned. Somehow was had food poisoning, and everybody got sick, and there was no pilots left.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes. And so
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. No, I'm Roger Murdoch.
I'm just a co-pilot.
But they had Leslie Nielsen as Dr. Rimac, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as Roger Murdoch, Peter Graves as Captain Clarence Roger. Robert Stack as Rex Kramer, and Lloyd Bridges as Steve McCrosky. I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Oh my God! When they're doing that pan around and he's sitting there just like.
Then you had that one guy. He's like, what do you make of this? Because you make a pterodactyl or a brooch
or a goose.
He goes,
oh my God!
What do you make? He goes, can you explain what? That's a big airplane with the big wings. It flies everywhere, But yeah, that's it's like when the announcements, the ones that start fighting about the red and the white zones.
Yeah.
Those are actually the same voice actors as the real LAX announcers.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they were actually married at the time that they were doing that.
That's awesome.
It was also Ethel Merman's last movie before she died.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a good one to go out on. I mean, if the last movie I made was Airplane,
Right.
I'm cool with that.
It's like what's wrong with him? Oh, he thinks he's Ethel Merman. No, big, great. Just it's fun.
She passes out.
Yeah. Oh. It cost like $3.5 million, and it was like shot in 34 days actually. Not even that bad.
No, that's fairly quick.
No, and
especially with the kind of following it went to get. Did it, if it did well when it released?
It did.
It did?
It did.
Okay. I didn't know if it was one of those ones that, it came out, everybody shit on it,
Right.
and then they had to wait for people like us to start watching it at home and go, this is amazing. This is
like Leslie Nielsen's first, major comedic role. They wanted him because he was a very serious actor.
Yeah.
So
it was all dramas and
they
stuff.
tried out a bunch of other actors, and they're all trying to make it goofy.
Yeah.
They had him come in and just read it like you'd be dramatic.
Yeah.
And he did, and his
It
deadpan
works.
is amazing.
And that's why they just kept bringing him back.
The alternatives.
I can't remember the alternatives, but there was a few others that they tried to bring in, but they all tried to be all goofy with
See,
it.
around that time period, it would have been around the same age as him, probably Andy Griffith.
I see.
I feel like I'd be okay with that, though.
Right. But yeah, that's Airplane for you. I mean,
well, it's one of those early spoofs, like disasters.
yeah, it was actually had an exclamation point on it.
Yeah.
Earthquake and
Yeah,
Burning Inferno and Airport 1976, or I think it was called.
I love it, man. I love is it the airport scene when he walks into the airport and he's just punching everyone out, and he comes.
Oh, the Harry Christmas.
Yes.
Like a flower from the Harry Christmas.
Yeah, he's just he's knocking everyone out on the way in.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's great.
I love it. So, is that it?
Yep, Lloyd Bridges was in Airplane with Leslie Nielsen.
All right. My first one is Lloyd Bridges was in Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen. Rated PG-13, released in 1991, directed by Jim Abrams, which we both did spoof movies by Jim Abrams.
Yeah.
Mine is a Top Gun parody, among other parodies, because they mixed in a lot of different cruise roles in there and stuff. But it's
Topper Harley.
yeah, which that he was named after the old Harley Topper, and his real name was Sean apparently.
Really?
Or something
Sean
like that.
Topper Harley?
No, the other was just a nickname.
Oh.
But no, I mean it follows the same kind of formula Airplane does.
Right.
It's like there's like that basic storyline like all the other movies. There's the love interest and everything. But I think one of the craziest things I found out about it was that the olive belly button scene
Yeah.
was not camera tricked.
No, it was real.
She was at, like, it might have taken a lot of takes, but it was legit. Like, dude, that's some serious stomach muscle, man. That is some serious stomach muscle.
I could do it.
Just,
I could do it.
I'll launch a baby 50 yards just sitting on my gut. No, it's, I got, like, a few different things that I found out about it I thought was hilarious, because I obviously wasn't old enough to comprehend a lot of the stuff they put out about it.
Right.
But when they did the advertising for the movie, one of the running jokes was that Saddam Hussein played himself. That's amazing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's one of those movies that you'll watch, but you don't watch for a while. Because it had been a while since I watched it. And I, like, literally just a couple days ago was like, well, if I'm going to use it on my list, I might want to give it a watch and stuff.
Right.
And dude, when he's talking about his shorts, he's like, they ran out of material about mid-knee, so don't you give me any shit about it. I fucking lost it, man. And he's sitting there drinking pudding out of his fucking cup.
Right.
Pudding! No, sir.
I like where all the people like started like revealing they're all related.
Yeah.
It was like everybody in that whole place was related, like from Mystic River or whatever they were. Yeah. Like the whole beginning of it, where the guy was shot and killed,
Yeah.
and then they ate him for dinner as a deer.
No, dude. Oh my God, Lloyd Bridges' character. Yeah, his character had the best lines because he's good at playing just that crazy, like screaming whatever the hell is coming to mind type of old man.
Right.
Like when he's like, it's either soup or duck. Which one do you shoot? But yeah, so I mean, it's a parody movie. It's a spoof movie. So
We need more of those nowadays. Like
Scary Movie kind of.
No, Scary Movie didn't ruin it. It was like Epic Movie and Date Movie and.
Yeah, but it was like Scary Movie 3 it started getting.
Well.
It's when the Wayans brothers weren't working on it anymore.
Right, when the Wayans brothers, but.
When they backed out, that's when it started
They've done
going
some
downhill.
good spoof movies here lately, like Haunted House with Marlon Wayans and
I haven't seen that.
Meet the Black Men or something.
Meet the Blacks?
Meet the Blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty good. But and then like wasn't there a Purge spoof of one?
I'm sure
like a
there
black,
was.
Yeah. Purge.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty good too.
Yeah, but I like the like big production ones, like
Yeah.
the Spaceballs,
Well,
the airplanes, and
the
stuff
whole
like
ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people hated that movie, but I love movie 43, which I'll
that.
probably.
Is that the one where
Where
Hugh
Hugh Jackman has balls
balls
on
on
his
his
chin?
chin? Yeah.
Yep.
And like, isn't he's who's he on a date with? Is it Halle Berry?
No, it's Kate Winslet.
That's right. They start like daring each other to do all this horrible
No,
shit.
that's a different one. That's Halle Berry, and that's
Oh no!
Purchase. That's-
Yeah, yeah. And they start like daring each other to do all this terrible.
that blind kid's about to blow out his
Yeah.
blow out his birthday cake, and they go over
And Halle Berry goes down and blows out the candles before he could in front of all of his family and stuff. Yeah,
Need more spoof movies.
but yeah. So that's mine. Lloyd Bridges was in Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen.
My next one is Leslie Nielsen was in Creep Show with Ed Harris. Creep Show is one of my favorite horror movies.
It has been a long time since I've seen Creep
You know
Show.
why it's one of my favorite horror movies? It takes one of my favorite horror directors, who?
Which one?
George Romero.
Okay.
One of my favorite horror writers.
Really?
Who?
I don't know.
Stephen King.
Okay, man.
The two great horror. You know, you get Creepshow. It's an anthology series. Okay, it was related. It was released in 1982 and rated R. Basically, it's an anthology series. This boy, the beginning of it, like this, the whole story is tied together. There's a boy and his dad's pissed off because he's reading horror comics. He called him trash. Yeah, he's throwing away his comics and shit. And actually, the little boy is actually Stephen King's son, another famous author, Joe Hill.
Yeah.
So, like, the crypt keeper, the creep show guy, the creep they call him.
The Crypt Keeper.
Well, the creep.
I was like, I'm
creep.
noticing a pattern between the two, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
It's based off the 50s comic book series Creep Show.
Yeah.
So, they
Like where each issue was its own story.
there's like three or four stories in there. But like there's the very first one is called Father's Day. Second one is The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill.
Mm-hmm.
That one stars Stephen King.
Don't most of his adaptations
He
have him in it?
He has a little bit. There's a couple that he ain't in there, but most of them he is in there.
So I'm just going to keep that in the back of in my mind. I'm like, if I ever need to connect two people, if I can get somebody to a Stephen King movie.
I almost
Like,
used him in this one. I almost used him in this
It's like, if I can get somebody to a Stephen King movie, he's been in all his damn movies, I can get somewhere.
There's number 3 was Something to Tide You Over. Mm-hmm. 4 is The Crate, and 5 is They're Creeping Up on You. Okay, the first one, Father's Day, is like this woman, Bedelia, she killed her father like years and years ago on Father's Day.
Yeah.
With an ashtray.
With an ashtray?
Yeah, it's big, like granite ashtray. Which actually, one of my facts is that ashtray makes an appearance in every part of it, somewhere.
Like throughout the series?
Yeah, throughout the whole movie.
Or the anthology?
The anthology. every part has that ashtray in there somewhere.
That's cool. Why?
I don't know. It's just in there.
Stephen King, just being Stephen
King being, or Romero being Romero.
Yeah, one of them.
Because Romero.
Did you say Coke?
A lot of Coke.
Coke.
Coke and alcohol. This was in '82. This is like almost sober. Not sober.
No.
But
not quite.
So maybe it was Romero saying, "Hey, we use that ashtray to kill somebody. Let's just put it in the background.
Just keep moving it."
Yeah. But like, and then like years later, the father comes back and kills everybody in his house. And I use that picture on my Facebook every Father's Day with the head. It says, "Happy Father's Day."
Yeah. Yeah, I can confirm that.
You had Leslie Nielsen in there as Dick Vickers, Ted Danson as Harry Wentworth, Ed Harris as Hank Blaine. He was actually.
Did you laugh at Dick Vickers? Are you 12?
Stephen King's Jordy Verrill. But like, Ed Harris was in the Father's Day part of it.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys there. Actually, I think he's the second person that gets killed in the movie. The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill has Stephen King in it. He's like this farmer guy, and he's on the farm, and a meteorite crashes down on his farm. He goes out there, he breaks it open on accident, and he goes, "Oh, meteor shit!"
I remember that. I don't remember much, but like as you're talking about, I'm like, I remember this part.
And he gets like burns on his finger,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden all this weird space like green fungal shit starts growing on him and the whole farm, and he finally has to get in a bathtub and he killed himself later.
Yeah.
And the something that tied
Does he
over.
ever survive in his own movies?
Yeah, he was a preacher in Pet Sematary, so he was just
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And he also on Maximum Overdrive, he goes, "Hey, this ATM's calling me an asshole." But the third one is Something Tied Over For. That's the one with Ted Danson in it. Leslie Nielsen plays a bad guy in here. He's not comedic at all. He finds out his wife was cheating on him with this guy and left him for him. So he goes and takes his wife and buries her up to her sand right on the inside of the tide line.
Yeah.
So the tide was coming in. It was going to drown her. And then he had Ted Danson, drive him out to the beach at gunpoint and buried him up to his neck in the sand. And he had like TVs for each of them so they can watch each other drown.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So,
All right.
So then after they drown, he goes out there, cleans up the evidence, gets all the TVs. He says, well, the bodies must have been washed out to shore. And later that night, they come at him. Like,
Are they dead?
yeah, they're dead. Like
Okay.
zombies, they're like all in their like they look like they've been drenched in and like bloated bodies. It's good. It's good effect.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really
All
good.
right.
And the funny thing is, Ted Danson's kids were on the set for that, and he didn't want to upset them because they were little kids.
Yeah.
And when one of them finally did see him, they're like, "Hi, Dad." didn't upset him at all. He say, "Hi, Dad."
Well, I would think so. He's like, they know he's an actor.
And then the one
But
called
still, that would be weird to just like turn the corner and there's like your dad's bloated body just sitting there like, hi.
And then the fourth one was called The Crate. These guys at a university find his crate under this stairway, and there's a monster in it. And the one guy's wife is an annoying bitch, and he wants to get rid of her, so he finally feeds her to the monster.
I'm sorry. I like your little note you add into your plot, like your plot reviews there. One guy's wife, just total bitch.
She is. And then the last one is They're Creeping Up on You. It's about this guy. He's this older guy. He lives in like a high-rise, sterile apartment, and he's afraid of bugs, germs, everything. All of a sudden, he gets a infestation of cockroaches.
All right.
Yeah, and then like that's the whole plot.
It's just him hiding from.
And he's locked in his apartment because he can't get out because something's wrong with the lock.
You know, MTV did a movie about that, but he made the best out of it.
Joe's apartment.
Yeah.
But
Don't be afraid. Just
but
be
at
their
the
friends,
end,
man.
but at the end, he's not an old man that dies, and all of a sudden cockroaches just explode out of his body.
Jesus
Which
Christ.
it's also a good effect too.
That's
I
awesome.
wish I would have looked up who did the effects, and then you know how the bookmark of the stuff at the end. The boy had ordered a voodoo doll out of one of the creep shows, and he starts petting him, and his dad starts fucking dying. He starts killing his dad. So
Okay.
that's creep show.
All right.
So Leslie Nielsen was in Creep Show with Ed Harris.
All right. All right. My next one is Charlie Sheen was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Edie McClurg. Edie. The Righteous Dude. Released in 1986, rated PG-13, directed by John Hughes, part of his Hugh-universe. The plot of the movie is basically just Ferris Bueller wants a nice day off. He wants to take day off. He wants to take day off, pick up his buddy, his girlfriend, and just have fun. That's
Right.
That's just it. It's and one of the things was I seen they talked about that there were a lot of talks about a sequel, and Matthew Broderick said like he wouldn't be down for it because Ferris Bueller is just a movie about like that makes you like, man, I wish I could live that that day. It's about that point in time, that day, and that's it.
So they made that shitty TV series.
Yeah, but they like the talk.
They made a movie about me.
The talks were about like to whether or not they were going to like have him like follow Ferris Bueller around college,
Right.
or if they were going to have to follow him when he was an adult in the real world. So what I'm
Ferris Bueller, the college years.
what I gathered
They did
from-
Van Wilder.
what I gathered from that is basically it just seemed like for a while they were trying to get Broderick to make a sequel. They're like, we could do college, and he's like, no. And then he got a little older, like we can do work in Ferris. I want to see Ferris Bueller's 401k.
He did do that Super Bowl commercial a couple years ago. It's Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, that was cool. But it's got Broderick, Alan Ruck, Jeffrey Jones as Rooney, Edie McClurg as Grace. It's got Jennifer Grey as Jeannie.
Pre-nose job.
Pre-nose job Grey. Some of the facts I got about it is Ben Stein's economics lecture was actually real. Hughes asked him to write one because he had a degree in economics, so it was completely off script.
The whole voodoo economics was his.
Yeah, the whole thing was. The only thing that was in the script was the roll call. The Bueller.
Fry.
But I wanted to get some more facts in about the people that I connected with this movie rather than the main stars of it.
Right.
Because the people I chose were kind of like supporting actors, but they were still in it. Damn it!
They're in
so
there.
I got that Charlie Sheen, prior to filming his jail scene, stayed up for over 48 hours to try and look like a druggie.
Yeah.
Which
you just kept with that look for the rest. Yeah.
He's looking healthier. But I always thought it was weird that he would method act such a small role. So
Meth.
Meth
Meth is the key word.
But I wondered why he would go so hard on such a small role, and I found out that it was like actually this whole backstory for him and his family. Like, his parents are the ones that Ferris's mom is showing a house to. Yeah. His family's wrecking company is the one that tows Rooney's car.
Right.
Ferris and him were actually supposed to have been friends in 8th grade.
Oh, you know him?
But he had like a home life and all that, and Ferris tried to help him, but it didn't work. He ended up dropping out, becoming a drug addict and everything. So it was this like huge, dark backstory that they ended up cutting out of it. So it makes a little more sense that he went through that to try and get the look down.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, what? You need me for like 3 minutes? Hold on, let me stay up for the next 2 days and then we'll get to it. But it was supposed to like come around that Ferris blames himself for like what happened to him. So that's why he's trying to help Cameron. Yeah. Like actually have a good day, since Cameron's going through his 17-year-old midlife crisis. Right. Which actually, I think it was Alan Ruck, the guy that played Cameron. He was the oldest one out of all of them because he was like 29. Yeah. He was 29 playing a 17-year-old.
Look at Rizzo from Greece. She was like 33.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
The reason they had to cast them like older back in the day because there were a lot of sexual situations.
Well, no,
you can't do that nowadays because they actually cast the actual teenagers.
I understand that, but at the same time, it's like you could have stayed below 25 and cast the entire movie.
But he was perfect for it.
Yeah, it's true. Probably because he was about to hit his midlife crisis.
Yes. He had those thoughts already.
Also got that Ferris's room was actually mirrored after John Hughes's high school bedroom, like the way that it like looks and everything. He said it was supposed to be like a representation of what was going on in Ferris's mind at any one time. Also got that Edie McClurg did her 60s hairstyle that she had throughout the movie was actually like her idea, and the hairdresser they had was literally only there to do Simone's hair. Yeah. Because like her hair was like super straight and they just needed it to be like poofy and stuff. And like that's all she was there for. She didn't know how to do that. So Edie actually did her own hair for the movie.
You know, she was with Pee Wee Herman and their troop, the Groundlings.
Yeah. And they did like those cartoonish like big hairdos and stuff like that.
She knew how to do it.
But when she after she did her hair and she showed up on set, John Hughes like made a joke about how many pencils.
Is that why she started sticking?
And he said they made it to 4, and then the 4th one fell out. But that's where that scene came from in the movie, where she starts pulling the lost pencils out of her hair. And I thought that was pretty cool.
That's great.
But dude, I found so much. There was so much behind the scenes stuff about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But it's a good movie. It's a John Hughes movie. There's not really bad John Hughes movies. But yeah, so that was my second one. Is Charlie Sheen was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Edie McClurg. All the dickheads.
All right, my next one is Ed Harris was in National Treasure: Book of Secrets with Nicolas Cage.
Okay,
it's the sequel to National Treasure. We all know National Treasure was a better movie. This was basically, there's a guy saying that the Gates family with Nicolas Cage and Jon Voight's characters actually helped with the assassination of President Lincoln.
The Gates family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Gates. And so they're trying to disprove this the whole time. They try to find, a new treasure that, is like Native American treasure and So it said Nicolas Cage, Ben Gates, Jon Voight's Patrick Gates, Harvey Keitel was back as Sandusky, Diane Kruger was Abigail Chase, Ed Harris was Mitch Wilkinson, and you got Helen Mirren as Emily Appleton. It's all right. You know, it's not my favorite National Treasure movie. They always thought there was going to be a third one, but it never, you know, because, you know, you had the whole subplot of when they kidnapped the president to find the book of secrets. He says, look at page 47. You never freaking find out what's on page 47. It's like, that's one
Did you try and look it up?
I tried looking up.
What was supposed to be there?
Well, there's about reincarnation and living or some bullshit.
Of course it is.
And so it's like...
Because if a series goes too long, it always gets supernatural.
It does. It does.
It's like horror movies.
Look at
like
Friday the 13th. Jason wasn't supernatural till
yeah, and like
yeah.
like so many different slashers just end up in space for some reason.
Right. Looking for Michael Myers in space. But yeah,
That would be amazing.
that's
He's the only one that didn't. Him
Right.
and Freddy.
Right,
Leprechaun went to space. Pinhead went to space.
Pinhead can go anywhere he wants.
Yeah, I guess.
But you know, it's also I found, you know, the Gates family was actually used in Father Bride 1 and 2, and also for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It's
which
a weird crossover.
I know. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith starred Angelina Jolie,
And
which
Brad
is
Pitt.
actually John Voight's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Angelina Voight. She's her middle name, so she went piggybacking. Just like
Gotcha.
Nicolas Cage is actually Nicholas Coppola, and he didn't want to piggyback on Francis Ford Coppola, his uncle.
Sure, it's not because Cage doesn't sound like an action star.
So
There's an entire Mortal Kombat character modeled after
Well,
that.
he-
Johnny Cage!
yeah, but he had his name before the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I know.
So
I did like, I do want to see that new movie that Cage is in. That-
Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
I've already seen it. I told you about it. It's freaking amazing.
I know. I just haven't had a chance to watch.
Good.
He doesn't have a line in the entire movie.
Does
He kills
not.
it.
He plays pinball,
All right.
kicks ass, and drinks pop.
So what was that one then?
That was Ed Harris was a National Treasure Book of Secrets with Nicolas Cage.
All right. Okay, my third one is Edie McClurg was in Elvira, Mistress of the Dark with Cassandra Peterson.
That's such a good movie.
It is. It is. Released in 1988, rated PG-13, directed by James Signorelli.
Sigournelli. Did they make that the pasta sauce?
Shut up. Anyway, Cassandra Peterson, like I don't know who doesn't know, but is Elvira. That is who she is.
Yes.
But the plot of the movie is basically she quits the TV show
Can
after
we show that boob dance at the end?
I don't know.
It's got pasties.
No, it's actually a bra.
Oh,
I got some info.
Oh yeah.
I got some info. I got some disturbing info too.
Oh,
but
bring it on. Disturbing is my middle
but
name.
She quits the TV show after the studio comes under new management. The dude's like,
I thought you said she was an info.
he's a total fucking perv and shit. But what she wanted to do anyways was have a Las Vegas show.
Yeah.
But the people that would be producing the show, basically she needs $50,000 because you need a plot for the movie.
Right.
So what happens is she inherits.
We'll fund it, but you got to give us $50,000
I know.
as a down payment.
So now the adventure begins. So she inherits a mansion from her aunt that passes away that she didn't know.
Yannitell.
And it's in like this, I don't know how to explain. It's like a good...
It's in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to describe the town, though. It's like...
It's a small town, old England, Massachusetts town.
No, you know what? I'm talking about the trope of it. It's like everybody's like those like cookie cutter houses type housewives and all that stuff. Yeah. But that's where this mansion is, and her car actually...
Pretty
her
much
car,
any small town in Massachusetts.
Yeah, pretty much. Been to a small town in Massachusetts?
Sorry about Massachusetts people.
That. If you've ever been to a small town in Massachusetts, just that. So her car breaks down while she, like, as she's coming into town, like, she has all the teenage boys, like, Elver push it in and stuff. And that car was actually built for the movie.
Yeah.
And I think altogether it only cost like $10,000, like including buying the car and then outfitting it with everything. And she's owned it ever since, and she still brings it to appearances and stuff. It's the same car. So she gets to this town and she goes in. It's like this like dank old, like dusty ass, archaic mansion that she ended up inheriting, and pretty much all she wants to do is just sell it so she has the money for her Las Vegas show because plot. And pretty much the whole town thinks she's a witch.
Yeah.
Wants to burn her at the stake for corrupting the youth and everything because all the teenage boys around town are all horny. And when they get all horny, all the teenage girls are getting horny. And that's pretty much, that's what it is.
Horns
It's like,
out.
that's what it is. But her uncle,
Vinny.
Uncle Vinny, ends up showing up and saying he wants her aunt's cookbook. It's a family cookbook. You find out it's a spell book. And he's like willing to give her $50,000 for it. But her aunt's dog hides it.
Yeah.
Because witches.
Familiar.
Yeah. You
Gonk.
end up finding out.
Algonquin was his name, so she started calling him Gonk.
Yeah. She made him look like a punk rock poodle and shit. Yeah. But you end up finding out like her mom, like it was her mom's spell book and she's got powers and all that stuff. She ends up in this huge fight with her uncle at the end, which ends up like burning down the mansion and killing him.
Yeah.
But because he dies, she's still the next of kin, so she gets control of his estate.
Rich.
Now she got her money. She's got her Las Vegas show. And that's pretty much the way it goes. But some of the facts I got about it is the burning at the stake scene that they were doing with her. Like, of course, like the fire was like away from her. It was just like perspective and everything when they lit it. But the flames were burning so hot that her wig started melting. And I thought that was hilarious. But also got that the whole tassel twirling scene that you brought up.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. Apparently, she learned to tassel twirl at 14 from a stripper.
Hey,
Because her original...
back in the day,
What
dude.
she wanted to be when she grew up, she wanted to be a Las Vegas showgirl.
Right.
Which is what the same path like Elvira's trying to be a Las Vegas showgirl act.
Yeah.
And she, because she was working as a go-go dancer at 14.
Yeah.
So because she couldn't do it...
It was probably the 60s. Early 70s, so they didn't...
But because she couldn't do it on stage legally, she had her mom make her a bra with tassels attached, which is why that's like what she wears at the end of the movie to do her tassel thing, which I don't know if it's behind us right now.
It should be.
But up until that point, like she hadn't done it in years, but she just decided to try and do it for the end of the show because the movie wasn't going to have a Las Vegas number because the studio didn't want to sink that much money into it.
Right.
But then they watched it before it was recorded, and they're like, and they enjoyed it. The movie, they're like, yeah, no, go ahead.
Right.
Like, go ahead and do it. But yeah. It's a good movie. It's a funny movie.
Yeah, I like
it's
it.
taking a horror host and giving her own movie. I did read that she wanted Tim Burton to direct it, but by the time this came around, he was already working on Beetlejuice.
He was expensive.
No, he was working on Beetlejuice.
Oh.
That's the only reason he could.
Oh, okay.
So that's my third one. Edie McClurg was in Elvira, Mistress of the Dark with Cassandra Peterson.
My next one is Nicolas Cage was in Kick-Ass with Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Dude, that is the most, like, horrible death.
What, when he gets blown, what's his face gets blown up?
No.
Miko?
No, Cage's. When he's getting burnt.
Oh, when he's burnt?
Yeah, when he's getting burnt.
Yeah.
Spoiler from another movie that's like, what, from 2007?
No, Kick-Ass was directed by Matthew Vaughn, released in 2010.
2010, yeah. So it's been out for a bit.
I
Anyway,
remember reading the comic, then going to see the movie.
dude, that death scene, though, him singing to his daughter as he's burning alive is fucking heart-wrenching,
Dude,
man.
yes.
But anyways, go on.
But
Yeah, I know. It's heavy. It's a heavy episode.
you
Don't
got-
worry. When he's done, I'm gonna bring it back with some other weird stuff.
there's a you got Nicolas Cage as Damon McCready, aka Big Daddy. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Dave Lewinsky, as Kick-Ass. Christopher Mintz plays as Chris D'Amico, also Red Mist. Mark Strong as Frank D'Amico. Chloe Grace Moretz as Mindy McCready, a hit girl. Basically, the plot is Dave is tired of being a loser, and he decides he's going to become a superhero.
Yeah, it's
He put on the mask and then goes and tries to stop these car thieves and gets his ass beat and stabbed, and he gets Basically, he gets nerve damage.
Yeah, so he can't.
That's
so
a
he can't
superpower.
feel it.
That's
Yeah.
a superpower.
So he can't feel anything.
He can't feel any pain.
So he can basically just take an
Yeah.
ass kicking.
Yeah.
That's a nerd superpower if I've ever f***ing heard one.
Yeah. And then
It's because it's a world where there's superheroes, but none of them are super.
right. And then you have.
Right? I mean,
Yeah. Then you have Big Daddy and Hit Girl, which Big Daddy, he was an ex-cop, and he was he was brought down by corruption, which was false against him by Frank D'Amico and all them, and so he he trains his daughter to become an assassin, just like
yeah, and he, while simultaneously training himself.
Yeah.
They become like a Batman Robin kind of
Yeah.
duo throughout the movie. If Robin wasn't a whiny little turd.
Right. Because I'd rather have Hit Girl as my sidekick.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So-
You see her with that butterfly knife when
Yeah.
she's like,
yeah. So, and it's like
better than G. Willikers.
it's based on the Kick-Ass comic by Mark Miller, which is really more graphic than this one is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's one part where, like, he's like, he don't get the girl in the comic book like he gets her in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he pretends to be her gay best friend, and then comes like,
Well,
I'm not gay.
It's a movie, so they have to do the whole,
Right.
like, you want a happy ending, you want love in the air.
Not like in the comic book where she sends him a picture of her sucking some dude's.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm afraid to admit later I masturbated to it.
So, comics.
Comics versus movies, But, yeah. Before ending up at Lionsgate Studio, they shopped it around a bunch of different studios, right? And all of them had the same request.
Yeah.
Either take Hit Girl out or make her 19.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, that's fucking cold.
Because she's like 12 or...
I know, that's what made her cool.
I know. That was the one stipulation. But Lionsgate...
Take her out or make her
19.
19.
Yeah. The Lionsgate said no.
Do what you want to do. Man.
Do what you do you boo.
Dude, that's one of those. It's one of those because it's rated R, correct?
Yeah.
Like it has.
Well,
to
yeah.
be. There's like so much.
Yeah. Hit Girl calling people.
I think that movie gets overlooked a lot when people are talking about rated R comic book movies.
Yeah.
Because Deadpool was such a huge success.
Yeah.
That's the one that's always brought up, and then they bring up the Logan movies, but they don't. They rarely bring up Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
And I know that the whole thing with the second one and Jim Carrey and not liking it and guns and all that
That's gonna be
kind
our
of
next
sunk
one,
that
Dick.
one. You didn't have to say it.
But yeah.
But I liked it. I loved it.
Body count 59 people.
59.
Yes.
It's pretty decent.
I'm gonna
For
start
a
doing that.
movie.
I'm gonna start doing that with murder movies.
You're gonna do a body count.
Body count. 59
Damn,
people.
man. I don't know if I don't even know if I have.
Better
Any
step up
Wait,
your
I
game.
do have a murder movie, and I have no body count. Damn.
Step up your game.
Get on my level, son.
All right, that's what I got for that one.
That's what you got. All right. So what was that one then?
Ed Harris. Oh no, Nicolas Cage was in Kick-Ass with Michael Mintz.
Ed Harris and Kick-Ass. All right. My next one is Cassandra Peterson was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure with Dee Snider. Now I know that they both had small parts, but they were in it.
Right. I know.
Released in 1985, rated PG, directed by Tim Burton. It's it's a Pee Wee Herman got a movie. Pee Wee Herman got a movie.
You know, the rest of the groundlings. Okay. The rest of the groundlings were pissed off about that
Why?
because they barely had it. They all cultivated that character together.
Yeah.
And then none of them were in that movie.
Cassandra was.
Yeah, but a very small part. None of the other people were.
Yeah, but it was also like, I feel like when Pee Wee's Big Adventure came out, like it was, like it had to inspire Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, right? Like it had to.
They were just pissed off.
The whole
because
running
they
through
all got
Hollywood
left
thing.
behind.
Yeah, which is sad because it's a good movie. I wouldn't have minded if they were all in there.
Yeah.
But it pretty much it follows Pee Wee Herman as he tries to get his stolen bike back.
You're just on a groundlings kick today.
I got
3 members of the groundlings. You just.
I've got some. I had fun making this one. I had fun because there's a lot of movies of these that I really like. But I did find out that when this was released, it was released the same year as. I can't remember which Mad Max it is.
Mad Max 2.
No, it wasn't Thunderdome. It's the one where they steal his car.
That was Mad Max 2.
Is it too? All right, but it came out the same year after Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Right.
So,
The Road Warrior.
but it's where that's the one where Mel Gibson's trying to get his stolen car back.
Yeah.
It came out after the movie about Pee Wee Herman trying to get his stolen bike back. So I thought that was funny. I got that during the story that she tells. Large Marge never blinks. It's just a dead stare at the camera the entire time she's telling it. I also tell him Large Marge sent you.
Large Marge sent me.
And that's actually the bar where Pee-wee meets Cassandra Peterson's
Just
character.
shot differently?
Huh?
Just shot differently?
Yeah, I think so. But like when he meets up with the bikers later, the biker mama,
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
yeah, and the tequila dance.
Yes.
And when he hits his head when he's getting up, that was legit. He actually bashed his head on the top of the bar. But I also got that Burton brought in Danny Elfman. Him and Paul Rubens brought in Danny Elfman after Tim Burton had went to an Oingo Boingo concert.
And then history was made.
I know, right?
Because you cannot think Tim Burton without Danny Elfman. Anymore.
Exactly, because he helps. His music helps set the tone of the movies that he does.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. I got there's so many different appearances of it because there's the entire Hollywood scene where he's going through all of the different sets and everything.
Yeah.
So there's cameos, huh? Yeah, the Godzilla one. I love that. I love it when he's doing the Tarzan one and he's swinging with his bike and shit. But he goes through a Twisted Sister music video.
Yep.
And that's
where
D. Snyder comes in. Yes, I know. Trust me, it's going somewhere. It's going somewhere. But I do got that one of the dogs that he saved from the pet shop that was on fire is the dog that played Precious in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, really?
And I thought that was a pretty cool crossover. Yeah, I know, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But I thought that was cool. And
My Precious.
but yeah, it's Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's Paul Rubens and Danny Elfman and Tim Burton making a movie.
There's no basement at the Alamo.
Yes, I know there's no basement at the Alamo.
She recently just died not too long ago.
Who, the tour guide?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing down my happy upper after your sad one.
Told you, buddy. I'm in a dark place right now.
So that's my. Oh, by the way, oh my God, I'm spacing on his name. The guy that played Special Agent P.W. Herman.
Yeah.
Meeting Mr. Herman.
I can't remember the actor's name. That played Pee-wee in Pee-wee's movie at the drive-in at the end. But he actually auditioned to be James Bond in Octopussy.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't get it. So he became Pee-wee Herman's James Bond. And Pee-wee Herman's movie debut in his universe is a bellboy, which is... he played a bellboy in one of his earlier roles in a Cheech and Chong movie. He was a bellboy.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So, but yeah, that's my fourth one is Cassandra Peterson was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure with D. Snyder.
Actually, he played himself.
What do you mean?
Because later in the movie, he actually comes out on stage as Pee-wee Herman.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
think it's called, I can't remember what, yeah.
It's one
The
of
next
them.
movie.
Oh, okay.
All right, Christopher Mintz-Plasse was in Kick-Ass 2 with Chloe Grace Moretz.
I don't feel so bad about my D. Snyder cameo now.
What? Why not? Hey.
Hey, man, it's another movie. It's a completely different movie. It counts.
It was directed by Jeff Wadlow, released in 2013, rated R. This one, the comic book's way darker than the first one for this one.
Yeah.
You got Aaron Tyler Johnson coming back, so Christopher and Chloe, and then you have Jim Carrey actually coming in playing a character called Colonel Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
Basically, the plot to this one is Chris D'Amico's pissed, and he starts recruiting all these other people who want to be superheroes, super villains, to be to go
Legion
against,
of Doom.
Yeah, pretty much to go against their Kick-Ass's group because he finally joined with the people.
The not so super friends.
Yes. The okay friends, call them every once in a while, check up. But
The crime fighting acquaintances.
pretty much, there you go.
There's a fucking comic series right there. The crime fighting acquaintances. They show up like, hey,
Let's kick some ass today.
let's go kick some ass.
Well, he changes the name from Red Mist from the first movie, and now he's called the Mother.
Yeah.
And he dresses in all leather, like gimp suit looking thing. Has frills everywhere. And he actually recruits some badass people, like bodyguards and shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, he also recruits a bunch of like normal people.
So he's got henchmen.
He's even got a shark.
Because he's rich, isn't he?
He's
rich.
He's
yeah.
got a shark with and a tank that he feeds people to. So it's
Do
like,
you think he did that because he wanted to get away from the McLovin thing?
maybe.
Can I just kill people? We'll put you in a full leather suit, badass.
Well, some of the comic book, stuff he does was like taken out. Mm-hmm. Like he kills children.
Yeah.
And he rapes women.
Yeah, he's a straight up fucking bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing with the Kick-Ass comics.
Yeah.
It's like none of it's like toned down because they're kids readers. Kick-Ass is not meant for kids.
Right.
They're like, if there was a truly evil person, this is the type of shit they would do.
Right. Well, and then Christopher had read the comics, and when they finally told, we're taking that out, he goes, oh, thank God.
I don't want to kill children.
I don't want to kill children or rape.
I don't want to rape people.
They don't want to see McLovin raping people. Right. And in the wake of the Newton Town Elementary shooting of the 2012,
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey actually did not do any promotion for this film because of all the violence.
Yeah, he caught so much shit for that. Yeah, it was after a school shooting. He didn't want to promote it because there was so much. Because his character specifically had so much to do with firearms and stuff.
Yeah. So he don't touch a gun in this one.
Yeah.
The only time he touches a gun, I think he empties it.
Yeah. That's what some people thought, but a lot more people were more vocal and just called him an asshole, saying that he was throwing his co-stars under the bus.
Yeah, because he was saying, don't go watch the movie.
Yeah, but
yeah,
but look, we all know Jim Carrey's a weird dude.
Right.
Like, you don't expect weird behavior from him? You don't expect stuff that's not the norm?
Well, I mean, look who he married. No. Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah.
Vaccination causes autism.
Did you say Tom Green? Yeah, Tom Green and Drew Barrymore had a thing for a bit. That's why she showed up in Freddy Got Fingered and why he showed up in Charlie's Angels.
The Chad?
No, the Chad was great. The Chad was great.
She loved the Chad. Jim Carrey's character is also, there's two characters in Kick-Ass the comic. Is Colonel Stars and Lieutenant Stripes.
Yeah.
But they combined it just for
one character.
Colonel Stars and Stripes.
He's got enough personalities in him to play it.
Right. Right. It's just like, it's not a bad sequel, but they try to cram too much shit into it.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much cram some of the plot development from Kick-Ass 3 into Kick-Ass
Well, they
2.
literally cram two characters together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that the first one does so well, so they try to up it instead of just sticking with the formula.
Right.
Like, well, let's make it bigger and better, and everybody's like, eh.
And then Kick-Ass's dad gets killed too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then Hit Girl has like her first kiss with Dave. So it was weird.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it, man.
All right. So
I'm not to that one.
So what was that one? Then?
Christopher Mintz plays was it Kick-Ass 2 with Chloe Grace Moretz.
All right. Okay, my fifth one, I went for a movie that I didn't realize that not a lot of people didn't know about, but Dee Snider was in Strangeland with Robert Englund. Have you ever seen Strangeland? It's
Maybe.
It's a horror movie.
Ain't the one where Dee Snider filed his teeth down or something? Or...
Well, he didn't actually. It was
I know,
part of his makeup. But yeah, he's it's actually written by Dee Snider. It's a horror movie. Actually, torture movie pre-Saw, like back in 1998 is when it came out. Yeah, and it's a torture movie. Came out in '98, rated R, directed by John Piplow or Piplow.
Plow that pipe.
It's either Piplow or Piplow. I'm assuming it's Piplow. But it was written by Dee Snider. And basically, it's like it's the late 90s, so they're using that whole, like, you don't know who you're talking to on the internet type of fear. Because Dee Snider plays this character, I can't remember his actual name, and I didn't write it down. But because he goes by Captain Howdy,
Yeah.
that's what he goes by. Like in all, like he goes into chat rooms and like lures these people.
Which is off of what?
What?
Which is a reference to what other movie?
I don't know. 1,000? 1,000 other movies?
Really?
What?
Really?
What?
Really?
Go! Come on, motherfucker! Just spit it. Tell me, what did I do wrong? Well, I thought you were talking about the computer thing. I was past the Captain Howdy. I got it on here.
I literally interrupted you after you said Captain Howdy. Why would it be on the internet thing?
I don't know, because I was talking about the fear of not knowing who you're talking to.
Oh.
I know it's on here. Captain Howdy is a reference to The Exorcist because it's who Reagan's communicating with through the Ouija board. It's Captain Howdy.
Sorry.
There you go.
I'm in a very dark place.
It's okay. But basically, Captain Howdy, he uses chat rooms and shit to lure these teens in. And, like, he's obsessed with body modification. So, you get back here. But he's obsessed with body modification. So, he's basically kidnapping all these teenagers to pierce them, brand them, tattoo them. And it's like these huge, elaborate, like, torture things.
Yeah.
Like how he has them all pierced. Like this one girl's like stuck in the middle of this thing and there's all these like 3-foot needles going through her body and they're all alive.
Was it sterile?
I'm assuming. I mean, he seemed to be pretty knowledgeable, especially since Dee Snider actually consulted a professional piercer and brander to make sure everything looked right. So, boop.
What was that about?
Just because you're giving me but yeah, he actually gets caught. He actually gets caught and goes into a mental institution and becomes rehabilitated. Because like before, he's got all these piercings, massive tattoo. It's like super long red hair that's cut into a mohawk. But when he's released from the mental hospital and like there's all these people like surrounding his house like protesting his release and everything. But he's playing like this sheepish dude. And he's got like this super pale makeup on to cover his tattoo, and he's wearing a cardigan, which Dee Snider said was the worst part about filming. Was putting on that fucking cardigan.
It's a Cosby sweater.
But then this group of parents and stuff end up kidnapping him, which Robert Englund was part of the lynch mob.
Is that where you guys?
Huh?
Was he credited there?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he actually has speaking lines and stuff.
Okay, I was like,
are you really gonna give me
no,
Kick-Ass 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just saying,
Yes.
Robert Englund's head was shown back there somewhere.
No.
Just like Ron Jeremy
No.
was in Ghostbusters because the was at a goddamn police barricade.
No. No. He was legitimately in the movie. He was legitimately in the movie. He was legitimately in the movie. Okay. He was part of the lynch mob that ended up like after he was released, like catching him, which is kind of funny because
ironic.
Yeah, it is exactly, and I'll get into that with my next choice. But anyways, because Freddy was taken down by a lynch.
I know where your
lynch
next
mob
movie's going
parents.
to. So
yeah, I think we all do. I think everybody does. But like he's they take him and they end up hanging him, and then they leave. But when they leave, the rope breaks, and like he hits the ground, and he was like,
he was kind of into that. He's probably erotic.
Well, he ended up like shooting up and going, "What a rush!" Like it's there's no.
They hang him. He's like, "Argh."
It pretty much was because like he was just this like little like weird weakling dude that just like kind of like took the ass kicking. But then, like, after he was passed out and he hit the ground, he shot up, and it was like, Captain Howdy's back type thing. So then he starts doing it again. He starts luring people in and piercing them and branding them and all his fun stuff that he does. But it's one of those, like, torture films. But it
sounds like a retelling of, like, A Clockwork Orange. He's a bad guy. He gets captured, gets rehabilitated. And people f with him, and he fucking goes bread.
Kind of. He wanted it to become a franchise because he liked the way that they did the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yeah.
The way like Freddy became like a horror icon. That's what he was hoping for Captain Howdy, but it was just a one-off movie. Like mostly,
There's only one captain. It's Spalding. Okay.
it took 10 hours to apply all of his fake piercings, makeup, and all that stuff. Because at the time, he only had like one legit like septum piercing.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he's got like piercings. Yeah, it's like a bull ring. But he's got piercings going all the way up at the bridge of his nose, across his eyebrows and stuff. Like, yeah, 10 hours. Which it actually, you know what? I'm going to wait because that's for the next one. But yeah, he wanted it to become a franchise, but the most important thing was he just wanted this one made. So like he was quoted saying he doesn't give a shit who picks up the movie as long as he has creative control of it. And I mean, the acting's not super great, but it's a weird movie. It's a creepy movie if you're into that type. If you like the Saw movies and stuff like that, like this is from '98.
I'm kind of with the Saw movies.
Yeah, I liked the first one.
I went to the first one.
I liked the first couple of them, but then it just became like too repetitive. It's like, how can we make it grosser?
I actually went to the first one. I fell asleep during it. I did. It was like...
It's like, what, I just got to watch these dudes sit in a fucking bathroom for 2.5 hours?
I like my horror movies not just sitting there going...
I like running and screaming and bloodshed.
I love boobs and everything else in horror movies. That's why 80s horror movies are the best. Gratuitous violence and boobs. That's right.
But yeah, I mean, that's my fifth one. Is Dee Snider was in Strangeland with Robert Englund. Fat Camp's OnlyFans. Just naked eating sandwiches.
Fat guys. Fat hairy guys eating sandwiches.
Just throwing Cheez-Its in our mouths, just brushing the crumbs off.
All right.
All right.
How you say that name again?
Moretz.
Play Clarettes. Hello, Clarettes. All right. Chloe Grace Moretz was in Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp. Or Johnny Depp.
Fuck you.
Johnny Depp.
Look, man. Look. What's that say?
What's that say?
Don't worry about that one.
All right. Dark Shadows was directed by Tim Burton and released in 2012 and rated PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
Had Johnny Depp as Barnabas Collins and Helena Bonham Carter as Dr. Julia Hoffman. You had Michelle Pfeiffer as Elizabeth Collins, and you had a bunch of other people. You know, you had Jackie Earle Haley as Willie Loomis. You had Chloe as Carolyn Stoddard, which is actually Michelle Pfeiffer's daughter in there. Actually, she's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Which is like, there's little clues sprinkled out where there's a lot of wolf references in there.
Yeah.
But basically, it's based off the old soap opera Dark Shadows.
I was going to start watching that. Yeah, it was a soap opera. But I was going to start watching it, and then like I was looking into it and seeing how far into the series it was before he even.
Yeah, it was like the series was actually going on the verge of being canceled before. Let's throw a vampire in there.
Yeah, so this entire movie is based on a soap opera that like near the end of it, they're like, "What if this guy?" That guy is what this movie was.
Pretty much.
But it worked.
It worked. It kept it on the air. But it's like Johnny Depp plays Barnabas Collins. He's a guy that was in the 1700s, I think 1760. He has a fling with like a witch.
Yeah.
He didn't know she was a witch.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with another girl and it pissed the witch off. And she cursed the girl to actually walk off this cliff to kill herself.
Yeah.
And she cursed him with being a vampire.
Yeah, and then locked him in a
casket.
casket.
Yeah,
she locked him in a casket for 200 years. It comes out in the 1960s.
Yeah, 1970s.
1970s.
72. And, like, they get a mob and they bury him.
Yeah.
And then 200 years later, they're actually building a McDonald's.
Yeah. They're building a McDonald's and they find his tomb. They find his tomb. It's the 70s. They're building a fucking McDonald's and they found a vampire.
Yeah.
And the vampire's Johnny Depp. Because Tim Burton said so.
Yeah. And so,
I'm sure there's a statement about corporate America in there somewhere.
Well, Well, he does look up at the golden arches and goes, Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
Because it's a throwaway line, because earlier in the movie, there was a book, he got into dark magic too. And there was an M that looked just like the golden arches for Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
So he comes back. He helps his family. You know, they're on hard times. They have a big mansion called in a place called Collinwood, Maine.
Yeah, it's a fishing town.
Yeah, it's a fishing town, and their fishing cannery went down the hill because Angel Fishery,
which is ran by the witch.
The witch who's immortal.
That cursed him and his family
Yeah.
because she's immortal now.
Yeah. So he comes back and gets everybody to.
He basically tries to get the business going again, right?
Yeah,
Tries to get money flowing back
Yeah.
to the family.
And he does.
Because they're pretty
finally.
much like fucking broke and on the verge of losing everything.
And then there's another subplot where the nephew of Michelle Pfeiffer's character, his mom was killed out to sea, but she's actually a ghost and helps him out. And
Yeah. And
there's a lot of weird subplots going on.
Hella Bonham Carter is supposed to be trying to help Barnabas, trying to cure him.
She tries to cure him.
But what he doesn't know is that she's actually taking his blood
And put him in her.
and injecting it in herself so she could become immortal and become a vampire.
Yeah,
There's all these different, and like the dad is having an affair.
No.
Or something like that. Yeah, no.
No, his wife's dead.
Then who?
That's her brother.
Oh, okay.
He's played
Yeah,
by Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah, because it's the guy that plays Sherlock Holmes in that newer
That
series.
crappy movie.
He's a heroin addict.
Yeah, he also played Zero Cool in Hackers.
But yeah, like it's pretty. I think the biggest thing about the movie is just watching him trying to adapt to the 70s.
Right.
Like that's where like all the comedic.
He's like, I
parts
love
come
today's
in.
music. He starts quoting the Joker.
Yeah, I'm a joker. I'm a smoker. I'm a midnight toker. I play my music in this. Oh my God, the Alice Cooper part, dude.
Oh yeah.
What an ugly woman. We've got the Miss Alice Cooper to play our party tonight.
She's like, he goes to the girl, Chloe, and he's like, how would I woo her? Maybe throw a party. Well, yeah, he goes, you can get Alice Cooper to come.
Like as a joke.
Yeah.
But he actually should.
And then like the whole time, she goes up to him like during the party, goes, "This is a great party. Too bad you couldn't get Alice Cooper." He goes, "Please go into the foyer." He starts singing the ballad of Curtis, not Curtis, but what's his name? Dwight.
I can't remember.
Dwight Fry.
Yeah.
The ballad
Okay.
of Dwight Fry, and
Yeah.
it's just like
But,
he's
like-
on there in full fucking straight
Yeah.
jacket.
It's a full-on Alice Cooper concert, like
Dark
Shadows. Yeah. But you get it like there's a full fucking Alice Cooper concert
Yeah.
that happens in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Because Tim Burton.
Yeah, and then you had Barnes Collins like that. Is
I
one ugly woman.
mentioned that Twisted Sister was shooting a music video in mine, right?
Yes, you did.
In my Tim Burton film.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I love it. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I enjoyed it.
I have a weird taste in movies.
Me too. Usually, if somebody
was-
hates something, I'm like, it's pretty good.
There was the body count was 12.
In a comedy,
Yeah, because he killed all the people when he came out of his casket.
yeah, because he was hungry.
And then
Well, he'd been buried for 200 years, and he was a vampire. So, like, he came out and immediately just slaughtered everyone.
he was hangry. and
Ain't
then
nothing worse than a hangry vampire.
and then he goes soul searching and finds these hippies, and they're all sitting around the fire smoking weed, like. Well, they start giving him like advice and shit. He goes, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to do," and then he kills like 5 more people.
Yeah.
The other ones stay put.
It cuts to the scene where you see fire from away and all you hear screams.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
But it's pretty much like the killing like is just glossed over. So it just becomes like, of course he killed somebody. He's a fucking vampire. He needs to eat.
That yourself.
Like it's pretty.
12.
yeah.
Just like counted that.
But I like it. I thought it was fun. I
This
thought it
was-
was a funny one.
This was Tim Burton's 8th movie with Johnny Depp.
Sounds like it.
It was his 7th with Helena Bonham Carter. It was his 5th with Christopher Lee, and his 2nd with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Damn, Batman.
Batman Returns.
So what was that one?
That was Chloe Grace Moretz was in Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp.
All right. So my last one is Robert Englund was in Nightmare on Elm Street with Johnny Depp, which you already knew that. 1984, rated R, directed by Wes Craven. The plot is it's a neighborhood, a group of teenagers. They're being stalked in their
What
dreams.
neighborhood?
Elm Street.
There you go.
Because every town has an Elm Street. But they're being, yeah, we do.
So by Harding.
By Harding Library. Yeah. Every town has an Elm Street. But it's pretty much it's a slasher movie. Freddy Krueger is the nightmare monster that if you die in your sleep, you die for real. All that. I got that. It was actually based on this. Sorry, it's going to get dark again. And this was it was based on a group of Southeast Asian refugees. It was called Brugada syndrome. But it's basically where they would fall asleep and they would wake up screaming and then refuse to sleep for days on end until their body would just shut down from exhaustion. They'd go to sleep, wake up screaming, and then die. Not of heart failure, not of a heart attack. Their autopsies revealed that they just died. Yeah.
Just died.
Wes Craven read an article about it and thought that it would be an interesting idea for a horror movie.
Yeah.
But I got that. This is actually Johnny Depp's film debut, and he was super worried about his performances throughout the entire thing. Wes Craven said he had to keep reassuring him he was doing, you're doing good, you're doing fine.
Just wear this short shirt for us.
Right.
This crop top.
We're gonna take a sweatshirt. We're gonna cut the edges. We're gonna cut the edges. The edges, you know, the edges. The sleeves. Gonna cut the sleeves off. Give you a midriff. It's all right. Originally in the story, Freddy Krueger was a child molester.
Yeah.
But they changed it
Just to a child murderer.
just to a child murderer until they did the reboot in 2010
Jackie Earle Haley.
with Jackie Earle Haley, and that's when they made him a child molester, which I think is why, you're able to kind of root for Freddy in some of his movies because he's so funny and shit. It's he's just killing people, so
They had you.
son of a bitch.
They had you rooting for Jackie Earle Haley's too to the whole child molester thing because there was a whole, they killed him, but the children were lying until later in the movie. It's they weren't lying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But then you feel bad for rooting for Freddy.
Yeah. You're Freddy's misunderstood.
They killed him for nothing. It's
they did.
Oh, God.
in a dark place right now.
I got originally his sweater was supposed to be red and yellow,
Right.
like a fucking Ronald McDonald suit. But Craven read a thing in a science magazine. Don't have the title of it. Sorry.
Popular Science.
Probably.
Okay. We'll go with that.
It was a generic name like that, but it said that the most contrasting colors to the human retina was red and green.
It's our Christmas colors.
Yeah, but that's why they changed it to red and green because it was supposed to be taking place within your mind. So he wanted it to really with you watching it. The knives on Freddy's gloves were not butcher knives. They were not butter knives. They were tomato knives. Tomato knives. But the whole thing about the glove is basically he wanted him to have a unique weapon that was unique to him, but also something small enough they could just kind of carry around and store easily.
All right.
The first time they
Which actually got lost.
Yeah, because they used it up until I think the third one.
Yeah.
Up until the third one, and then the third one it got lost because Robert Englund kept it after the first one. He would lend it to the movie studios to make the next two, and then they fucking lost it.
Bastards.
But the first time he put it on, he cut himself.
So they had two of them. One wasn't sharp and one was really sharp.
Yeah, because one was supposed to be for the close-up shots, and then the other one was just for everything else. I got that Freddy Krueger actually had under 7 minutes of screen time throughout the entire movie.
You don't see him very much.
Which is why I think that's one of the things that makes it scary. It's the same with any good slasher movies. It's not necessarily them always being there that's scary. It's waiting for them to show up, knowing they're around you.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's what made Jaws such a huge thing. I got that they used 7,500 gallons of fake blood, most of it in the 2 scenes.
Right.
Which is Depp's death scene and Tina's death scene, because Johnny Depp's had that huge blood volcano, and the way they did that is they shot it on the same rotating set that they shot Tina's death, because she where it looks like she's on the ceiling and stuff, and the boyfriend's actually the one that's upside down. That's why they're shooting from behind his head.
He's actually strapped up.
Because he's strapped in upside down, and they shot from behind his head. Because when somebody's hanging upside down, it's very fucking obvious they're hanging upside down.
Right.
So they shot from behind his head and just showed her going around on the ceiling. But they used the same rotating set for Johnny Depp's death scene because his was that blood volcano. And they basically rotated the set and just dumped all the blood through the hole.
Did you say 7,500?
Yeah.
That's 155 gallons.
Yeah.
That is a lot of blood.
Do you remember that scene?
No.
Have you not seen?
This film.
You ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street? Freddy Krueger?
Have you not
Yeah.
seen Brain Dead?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're not talking about that. That might be a later episode. Shut the We're going to run out of things. We're going to run out of things.
Again.
But no, the death scene with Johnny Depp with the big blood volcano.
Holy God.
Yeah,
that's
they
a lot of blood.
basically just dumped it and it rotated the camera.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, a pool of blood.
That's more than my pool out there.
How many takes did he take? Probably just one.
Yeah, it was done in one take because of the cleanup.
I can think so.
Imagine.
Let's get this one really good. We have 4 cameras.
But no, I got there's so many behind the scenes things, and that's usually how it goes with a lot of the slasher movies. Like the ending. The ending wasn't supposed to be her mom. Well, the blow up doll version of her mom gets pulled in through a window.
Right.
Like the worst body that you could have used. Have you watch it? Watch the final scene and
Pulled in the window.
watch the final scene in Nightmare on Elm Street when she goes out to get in the car with her friends and that top slams down and it's striped like his sweater and they drive off and she's screaming help. Her mom's sitting there waving. A hand comes out the window of the door, grabs her by the face. Then it cuts to the hand pulling in. It's a blow up doll. There's no way it's not. I didn't look into it because I just assumed.
You might have looked it up, but that's
But originally Wes Craven's whole thing was supposed to be the classic twist mindfuck ending where she wakes up at the end and the entire movie was a dream.
See, it's a classic.
Yeah.
But the way they kill him.
Well, the reason
The way they kill him, I'm gonna turn my back on you. Have no power.
Exactly.
He disintegrates.
Yeah.
Nobody could do that after.
Yeah, I know. I'm not afraid of you. That's also another trope. But yeah, that was Wes Craven's idea, but the studio they didn't like the idea. Plus, they wanted to be able to make more. Which that's why in the second one and the later ones that Freddy got more lines. Freddie got more lines because they realized
Have
he
you
could be a
seen the
comedic.
second one?
Yes.
It's one big homoerotic movie.
Yeah. I know. That's the one.
I'm not.
Is that the
I'm
one
not
with the
that
puppet scene?
Yeah.
Is that the one where he's also force feeding a woman with an eating disorder?
No, I can't remember that one. But
And he's like, "Bon appetit, bitch." Do you remember that? And her fucking cheeks start
I
swelling
think
out?
that was the third one.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I like Nightmare on Elm Street is because I like the Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
Because I like seeing each movie they're all right, how can we kill somebody this time? But they still got to keep it within reality because it's in the real world. But with Freddy Krueger, it's you're in your dreams.
You can do whatever.
So anything. Which is why, in the one thing, she's running down the steps and her feet start sinking in. It was pancake mix.
Pancake.
So, yeah, that's my last one. Is Robert Englund was in Nightmare on Elm Street with Johnny Depp. All right, you want to go ahead with your list?
Yeah, my list was Lloyd Bridges was in Airplane with Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen was in Creep Show with Ed Harris. Ed Harris was in National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was in Kick-Ass with Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Christopher Mintz-Plasse was in Kick-Ass 2 with Chloe Grace Moretz.
Is it Mortz?
Moretz.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
And Chloe Grace Moretz was in Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp.
All right. Mine is Lloyd Bridges was in Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Edie McClurg. Edie McClurg was in Elvira, Mistress of the Dark with Cassandra Peterson. Cassandra Peterson was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure with Dee Snider. Dee Snider was in Strangeland with Robert Englund. And Robert Englund was in Nightmare on Elm Street with Johnny Depp.
Yay.
Yay. All right, that's our show for today. If you liked what you've seen, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Give us some suggestions of the two actors you want to see us connect. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.